Descendants 4 is progressing really fast, and it comes with shocking details on what to expect. For a long time, no one knew if Descendants 4 would happen, especially since the film's cast wasn't aware of any news. However, it became obvious later that Disney was going to move on without the original cast of the show, even though it was heartbreaking considering all that had happened in the past. With the passing of Cameron Boyce, who portrayed Carlos in the first 3 installments, things haven't remained the same for both the cast and fans of the franchise. Despite everything, Descendants 4 has progressed, but it's not a straight continuation of where Descendants 3 stopped. Since the lead characters from the first 3 movies can no longer be a part of the franchise, there's worry about how the story can make sense. But Descendants 4 is prepared to fill the gap by answering viewers' questions. Descendants 1, 2, and 3 showed the awful lives of the villains' kids and how they were conquered by love in the end, with the barrier between Auradon and Isle of the Lost being broken for life, which gave a very fulfilling ending. However, Descendants 4 promises even more fun, as it will show how love turned to evil and how the villains' kids caught themselves fighting battles they never started. Descendants 4, titled The Rise of Red, already hints at what to expect in the show from the title, as the film will focus on Red, the daughter of the Queen of Hearts. Interestingly, Red won't be the only lead in the film, as she's expected to pair up with Chloe, the daughter of Cinderella and King Charming. Chloe and Red, who grew up separately under different conditions like good and evil, would find themselves inseparable when disaster happens as the birth of a new royal baby is celebrated. And just like in the previous Descendants movies, the daughter of an evil queen and a good queen would know how to stop the disaster from happening. So they will find the right tool to take them back in time through a rabbit hole, the magical pocket watch that Mad Hatter's son made. From there, they would have to overcome some challenges of good and evil to stop the disaster from happening. And the future of Auradon depends on both Chloe and Red as they try to stop an approaching tragedy. But the interesting thing is the cast. Kylie Cantrell, who's portraying Red, already looks so good and ready to conquer anything in her bright costumes. Also, Malia Baker, who will be playing Chloe, is working hard to match this energy. Although it won't be the first time Descendants lovers see villains' kids become close, it will be more thrilling once their parents are introduced. Rita Ora plays Red's mother, Queen of Hearts, and she already has that perfect villain look that even her daughter Red would always be terrified of. But as the movie suggests, the film will be about the rise of Red no matter how hard the mother tries to hold her down, and she will be very rebellious despite Queen of Hearts' wickedness. And the first look of Queen of Hearts and Red brings even more enticing news for the fans of the franchise, because not only will the film be set in the Isle of the Lost in Auradon, but we will also be seeing Wonderland. Even though Wonderland is new to Descendants, it will be familiar to many fans who have seen Alice in Wonderland. And it gets so much better because in Auradon, viewers will see Cinderella and King Charming again, whose son, Chad, was a huge part of Descendants 1 to 3. Therefore, it's time to see Brandy shine again in her glass slippers as she reprises her 1997 Cinderella role with Paolo Montalban, now King Charming. So it will be a big reunion between these lovers that broke the theaters many years ago. While many people might expect to see how their love has progressed over the years, there will be a limited show of that, as the focus will be on their parenting and their influence on Chloe. And just like many well-behaved families at Auradon who try to keep their children away from the villains' kids, viewers will see if Cinderella and Prince Charming are more welcoming and tolerant, and you can already guess they will be following their history. Although Descendants 4 sounds like a continuation of Descendants 3, it's a little more complicated than that, as it's not as straightforward as the previous installments. The film will introduce some amazing backstories to spice things up. Remember, in the first part, all fans knew was a little backstory to how the villains and their families were condemned to the Isle of the Lost, and the good news is Descendants 4 is coming on to answer all of these questions and more. If Auradon Prep brought them all together again with a happy ending, then there was a time things were even sweeter when the parents were teenagers. A lot is expected to happen and be revealed because most villains, princes and princesses, went to school together at Merlin Academy, a school with so much dark history and fun memories that Descendants 4 is now revisiting. So Descendants 4 will introduce us to a teen fairy godmother played by Grace Narducci, and in the same school there will be a teen Maleficent that Mars portrays. It gets very fun because Teen Hades, who Anthony Pyatt plays, will also be at Merlin Academy, and if you've not forgotten, Hades and Maleficent are both Mal's parents in the franchise, and it's so likely that Hades and Maleficent met and fell in love at Merlin Academy. However, it doesn't end at that, and just as they're bringing in interesting characters from Alice in Wonderland, Descendants 4 is also coming on with Disney's fan favorites like Aladdin and Jasmine. So you should expect to see both Aladdin and Jasmine at Merlin Academy, and they are portrayed by Kabir Beri and Aiza Azar, respectively. Also, Prince Charming as a teen is played by Tristan Padil, who also attended Merlin Academy, and this school already sounds so exciting and more challenging than Auradon Prep. Regrettably, not all parents from the previous installments attended Merlin Academy, but the featured ones are about to take Descendants to the next level, because not only would they give viewers the much-needed closure as to why there was ever a need for the barrier, but also because the backstories will predict some future events that fans already saw happen. And even though the original characters won't be back in this show except for Uma, you should know that they are still very much part of the story and will be referred to occasionally in the film. The character, Uma, is going to still be at the Isle of the Lost, and nothing about the character is going to change. And the cool thing is the actress, China Anne McClain, is reprising her role, and she looks just as perfect in her first look for the movie. In the past, Uma's whole presence has been based on her competition with Mal and wanting to have the things Mal had. Uma remained bitter until the end when Mal finally broke the barrier, and she was happy to see other villains' kids have a better shot at life from the ghetto they were condemned to. Although viewers see Uma become good in the end, she might still be trapped in evil, as her mother's influence could still be very noticeable in Descendants 4. We barely saw Uma's mother, Ursula, in the previous films, except for her tentacles, but an even more interesting character in the life of Uma will be introduced. Juliana, a sister to Ursula and an aunt to Uma, will also have her teen version featured, and she's very wicked with her 8 tentacles and annoying group of friends. And of course, the actress behind this role, Dara Renee, is already doing so much on set with her amazing stunts. One of Uliana's annoying friends is Hook, a rich and arrogant kid who enjoys wearing hoop earrings and has a special feature that could easily hurt anyone. Hook's left hand contains a shiny hook that makes him dangerous, and Joshua Cauley plays the role. Aside from seeing Cinderella as a parent, Descendants 4 will also show Cinderella as a teenager, bringing many memories of how she grew up. The younger version of Cinderella is kind of proud and arrogant, especially when her wicked stepmother tries to force and control her to work. But the interesting thing is, Cinderella as a teen is just as gracious as the adult version, and Morgan Dudley plays the teen part. However, the twist regarding Red's mother, the Queen of Hearts, would be the most surprising, even though Alice in Wonderland already hinted at her younger days compared to how she grew up wicked. So, Ruby Rose Turner portrays the young Queen of Hearts, and she's a much more fun and outgoing character than she grew up to be. And all these characteristics in their younger selves will become even more obvious in their daughters, Chloe and Red. With Descendants comes great music and dances, and all of these cast members are already bringing their A game into the 4th part of the franchise. And they are working hard just to bring in the best, as 7 new songs have been teased to be in the new movie, including the ones fans already know. Also, there's a director change, as Kenny Ortega, who has brought the franchise far up until now, will be stepping down for Jennifer Fang. And that means viewers can only look forward to a wholesome new experience that includes everyone, even the original characters, who will still be a big part of the story even if they won't be present. What do you think of these mysteries and entertaining experiences set to happen with Descendants 4? Share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching.